Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's still your girl Melly Belong. Today we are in my kitchen and we'll be making something special. Guess what? It's my birthday cake. And what better way to celebrate than to decorate my own birthday cake? I started baking and decorating cakes for fun and as a form of therapy, but friends and family would try my cake and would want me to make something for their special day or special occasion. That's how I started baking and decorating cakes. So if you would like to see how I decorated this beautiful, gorgeous birthday cake of mine, don't skip this video because you're gonna miss a lot. Just stay tuned. For this cake, I decided to experiment with some new flavors because why not? We have a raspberry cake, biscuit cake, a vanilla cake, and a super rich ganache buttercream. I love playing around with flavors and this combination is going to be amazing. I hope. I made the buttercream and stored it in a freezer in a cling film like I showed earlier. When I want to use it, I'll take it out from the freezer some hours earlier to thaw and come to room temperature. But you can see it's not in a creamy texture anymore. So I'll take some of the buttercream and microwave it for 20 to 30 minutes. I will pour it back in the mixing bowl and mix together to achieve this super smooth and creamy consistency for layering, covering, and piping on cakes. Next, I'm going to flavor my buttercream. I added about a teaspoon of vanilla flavor. You can also balance or enhance your buttercream taste by adding a little bit of salt. I shared the buttercream in 3 parts because I want to achieve 3 different flavors. For the first flavor, I put some buttercream in a raspberry marmalade and mixed together for some raspberry flavor. And for the second flavor, I put some buttercream in a crushed up biscuit biscuits for biscuit flavor and some crunchy deliciousness. So I have 3 flavors: raspberry flavor, biscuit flavor, and then vanilla flavor. Then I was ready to layer my cakes, but first I had to wipe down my cake board with some vinegar, and then I washed my hands clean to proceed. At this point, I have no idea how I'll be decorating this cake, but I know for sure that I want it to be finer, taller, prettier than what I did last year. Okay, so maybe I'll insert the picture of my cake from last year somewhere in the screen, but I want this particular cake to be taller, prettier, and finer. And because this cake is going to be a tall cake, it can actually be considered as a double barrel cake. Therefore, it needs some form of stability. But because I will not be leaving my house, I'm not having a party, I just want to have a cake and cut a cake and dance with my family, I didn't think or feel there's a need to put any form of stability. But if this cake has to be leaving my house, it will be doweled. It will need some middle layer stability to keep the cake stable and prevent it from collapsing on itself. Now let's go back to layering the cake. I started with biscuit sponge and I layered with biscuit buttercream. Next was raspberry sponge, layered with raspberry buttercream. Next was vanilla and biscuit buttercream. I repeated in the same order until the last sponge. Then I crumb coated the whole cake with the leftover I crumb coated the whole cake with the leftover raspberry buttercream, and then I put the cake in the fridge to set while I mix my colors for the ombre coloring. At this point, I realized the video was not giving the full view of the cake anymore, so I had to reposition the camera so you guys can see clearly what I am doing. So sorry for the background distractions. You see, cake baking and decorating being part of or one of the many things I know how to do or skills I have will forever be number one thing that gives me comfort and calmness, because it's a skill I acquired at the lowest point in my life. Yes, maybe we're not going to talk about the lowest point or what took me that low, but it's a skill I'll forever appreciate and cherish because it kept me going. It gave me some sense of fulfillment, some sense of hope. So decorating cakes and seeing my creative effort in the end is something I will forever cherish. So let's go back to making my cake. So we'll be doing an ombre cake. I know I want to do more than 2 colors or 1 color at least. So we'll be doing 3 colors, 1 in a purplish undertone and 1 in a pinkish undertone. So because I am a baby girl and one of my very favorite color is dusty pink, so I'm trying to achieve colors in that undertone. I'm not actually trying to be perfect with these colors. I just want something that will be bright, colorful and pretty. So when I achieved these colors, I felt like, okay, it's fine. It's time to cover my cake with the colors. So I started with the darker color, which was the purple, and next was the pink. And it's like it's going to blend into one another like an ombre effect. So after layering the pink, just after the purple, I'll have to put the next color, which is, I don't know if this color is called beige or ivory, but it's an off-white, which is usually the color you get from buttercreams, because buttercream is not pure white. After I'm done spreading out my buttercream, I started the smoothing process. So I use my metal scraper to begin the smoothing process. Trust me, metal scrapers, especially when it's a little bit warm, is good to smoothen out your buttercream. And this process, trust me, it's not as easy as it seems on this video, because this video has been sped up. It needs a lot of time, a lot of attention to get a very smooth and very sharp edges on your cake. Now, because it's my birthday cake and there is no special event, I was not very particular about the smoothness of my cake. So, but I tried to make it as smooth as I can, and then I achieved my sharp edges good to my taste. Then I started decorating my cake. Okay, we finally got into the fun part of this cake decoration, which is actually decorating the cake itself with all the edibles. So I made all the decorative items from cake, or most of them from cake. So everything here is edible except the name glaze boss. The donuts were not actually donuts, they are cake covered or dipped in chocolate and decorated with sprinkles or sugar sprinkles. And the cakesicles and the hearts, cakesicles are all cake covered in chocolate and decorated with chocolates, also painted with luster dust. Then what again do I have? The cake pops are also cake dipped in chocolate and decorated with sugar sprinkles. Then the gold flowers are made out of fondant, yes, and dusted with the luster dust or painted with the luster dust. So, but the name Glaze Boss, because I do not have a Cricut or a cutting machine, I design my names or cake toppers from either Microsoft or Canva. Then I print with my printer, and then I cut it off with my hands. So this is how I do my names until I'm able to acquire or buy a Cricut machine. I keep placing my edibles at different points until I get satisfied, or I'm satisfied with how the positioning is looking. And you can see I'm wearing gloves while doing this, because you don't want your finger marks to appear on the cakesicles. It doesn't look nice when your fingers appear on them. So if you want to handle them, you have to put on gloves, not because it's going to make your hands cleaner yet, because I am always an advocate of washing your hands clean. But when it comes to this case of handling the cakesicles, you have to wear gloves so that your finger marks or prints does not show on the cakesicles or on the cake pops while you're placing them on the cake. And just a little tip, if your printed items are going to be coming in contact with your cake, just like mine, and they're not edibles, please put it on top of a fondant before you stick it on the cake, or you put some chocolate at the back of your printed items and then stick it on the cake. One is going to help it stick better, and two, it's not going to be in direct contact with your edible cake. See, this cake took a lot of effort from me, a lot of time, a lot of dedication, but I don't regret it one bit. I loved every step and every process it took me to create this cake. Maybe because it was my birthday cake, maybe because I'm growing, I'm becoming a better person, I'm becoming more self-aware of what I like, how I like to do things, and acknowledging who I am. Maybe that's why, but I really enjoyed every process of making this cake. In that light, in that mood, if there is anything you would like me to throw more light on about making this cake, or the processes or the techniques, please feel free to drop your comment on the comment section. Let us all educate and learn from one another. Okay, let's make the comment section very fun, very interactive, very educative, because we should be able to learn from one another. Let me also know in the comment section if you would like to see a detailed video on how I create my custom name toppers or custom theme cake toppers. Meanwhile, take a moment to admire this gorgeous cake by myself to myself. This is a piece of art and I love it. Oh yeah, this is me dancing and vibing because I'm utterly grateful to God for his goodness and mercies and for just adding a year to my life. I am so grateful. Just look at these gorgeous layers on this cake. Oh my, delicious. Okay guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching my video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment, share. Thank you guys. Love you always. See you in my next video. Bye.